You are standing in line. Nothing is happening. Your phone is in your pocket, and within a few seconds, your hand is already moving toward it. You barely notice yourself doing it. That reflex, the one that cannot tolerate a single empty moment, is not a personal failing. It is one of the oldest alarm systems in your brain, and it might be the most misunderstood feeling you have. Boredom feels like nothing, an absence, a gap where something should be happening. But neuroscientists no longer see it that way. Psychologist John Eastwood, who has spent years studying boredom at York University, describes it as a signal, not a void. Specifically, it's the feeling of wanting to be engaged in something meaningful and being unable to find it. Your brain isn't switching off. It's actively searching, scanning, and coming up empty. Why would evolution build that into you? Think about your ancestors. A small group of early humans, sitting around camp, no immediate predator, no urgent task. For most of human history, this kind of low-stimulation moment was not safe to ignore. It was a signal to look around, to notice the changing light, the quiet, the absence of birdsong that might mean a predator nearby. Boredom likely evolved as a kind of internal nudge, pushing you to keep scanning your environment even when nothing seemed wrong, because in the ancestral world, comfort could be deceptive. Stillness sometimes preceded danger. There's a second function too, one that may matter even more. Boredom doesn't just point outward at your environment. It points inward at your goals. Researcher Heather Lynch at Texas A&M has studied how boredom functions as a kind of motivational pressure valve. When you're bored, you're far more likely to switch tasks, set a new goal, or seek out something unfamiliar. In other words, boredom is the feeling that tells you, what you're doing right now is no longer serving you. Move towards something else. This is where it gets strange. In a now famous 2014 study, psychologist Timothy Wilson and his colleagues asked people to sit alone in a room with nothing to do for just 15 minutes. No phone, no book, just their own thoughts. The only other option available to them was a button that delivered a mild electric shock. A significant number of participants chose to shock themselves rather than sit with their own boredom. Let that sit for a moment. People opted for actual physical pain over an unoccupied mind. That tells you something important about how intolerable boredom has become in a world engineered to eliminate it. Because here's the twist. Boredom isn't the enemy. The discomfort of boredom is what historically pushed humans toward exploration, art, invention, and connection. Some of the most significant leaps in human creativity have emerged not from busyness, but from idle, understimulated minds wandering without direction. Researchers studying mind wandering, including work from Jonathan Schooler, have found that periods of unfocused, low-stimulation thought are strongly linked to creative insight and problem solving. Your brain, left alone, doesn't go blank. It starts connecting things it wouldn't connect under pressure. The problem isn't that you feel bored. The problem is that the moment boredom appears, you almost never let it finish its job. Your phone interrupts the signal before it can push you anywhere useful. You feel the itch, and within seconds, you scratch it with a notification, a scroll, a flicker of stimulation. The ancient nudge that once sent your ancestors toward a new hunting ground, a new idea, a new relationship, now gets answered by an algorithm in under 5 seconds. So the feeling never gets to finish its sentence. This doesn't mean boredom is pleasant. It isn't supposed to be. Discomfort is the entire mechanism. It's the same logic as physical hunger, an uncomfortable signal that exists specifically to make you do something about it. You wouldn't try to eliminate hunger from your body. You'd just respond to it. Boredom may deserve the same respect, not something to escape instantly, but something to sit with just long enough to hear what it's actually telling you. The next time you feel that restless itch waiting in line, on a quiet evening, in a meeting that's lost momentum, you may not need to reach for your phone. You may simply need to listen a little longer. So you are standing in line again. Nothing is happening, but this time, your hand stays in your pocket. And in the space that opens up, your mind finally gets the chance to ask the question that boredom was trying to raise all along. What do you actually want next?